Alright, hey again Alex, so you've got mid lane game, Yone plays, so Yone versus Viktor, Platinum 3. This time it's mid lane, you struggled hard with the match if you're helpless against some range matchups, feel like you're permanent behind and have a lot less power in the games you play against certain range matchups. Mid game macro when you don't take TP is a little fuzzy. It's also a point in the game where Viktor freezes on me hard, I ping jungle but no help. So get frustrated, like to know how to prevent that, feel free to post on second channel. Cool. So let's take a look at first. I think your rune and item setup is pretty much perfect. I think like second wind and Thorn Shield absolutely kind of necessary against some of these stronger laning range champs. We'll also say that I think, well, I don't know, we'll see how this goes, but I think this is a matchup where I would probably take TP. Viktor's laning is really strong in the early game, and that's the only time where he really kind of does well into you. So I probably would have taken TP, but I think it's possible that maybe you could manage to not take it. Same thing as before. What I'll do is I will get a notepad, and at the end we'll go over a bunch of notes. Just going to Viktor. We'll come back to that. So let's see. Jungle matchup, Echo versus Yi, so there's going to be a lot of AFK farming there. Maybe Echo will look for some ganks, but for the most part it is going to be some AFK farming. Okay, so Sun lane off, you're doing the right thing. Given CS, there's not much you can do to contest this. I feel like you kind of have to accept this. Yeah, I mean, that's just the reality of this matchup. There's not much you can do here. But that, oh, wait, I have to turn off directed camera. Manual, there we go. So yeah, this is pushing to you. I mean, okay, like here, you are kind of losing a bit of HP for free. You should know that the only time you should ever walk up is when you're like willing to trade HP to get a CS. The first time I think wasn't too bad because you've had a lot of time to regen. But this time is like way worse, so it's like you can wait for this creep to die here. This creep is in no danger of dying, right? So you can wait till it's up here, but instead you take a Q order for free and you get nothing from it. And then you take another order when you go for the actual CS, so you take a lot more damage here than was necessary. I think, yeah, that was fine because you would have expected to get that CS with your Q. It's going to be a little bit hard to CS this because it's in a very kind of awkward HP levels, but you'll be able to get most of it, I think. Gotta order this, yep. With W. Yeah, so you are taking quite a lot of harass. I feel like you would probably get more value out of the TP and then you can trade a bit more of your HP. Because like the thing is, with these matchups, it's like Yone like scales really well in the 1v1 and the ignite just kind of like helps you snowball. But if you lose so much gold by not taking TP that you would have got, you know, say ignite converts to a kill, right? Sometimes you will get more gold just from the TP. That being said, like if you can get away with not taking TP, I feel like you should. It's really nice to have a combat summoner and it's way easier to use. The Viktor has played this pretty well. I think now you could look to be a lot more aggressive. So I think here, just in general, you're playing this a little too passively, I think. So once you hit level 3, I think we can start turning this around as long as you haven't lost too much health. And like you still have your potion, right? So you're not, I don't think you should be in danger of dying. I think now, once you have your E, you can start looking to threaten a little bit more. You get this. I think, yeah, you should look to just stack Q2 here and kind of like trade on them. So you've got it now. I think you just look to punish. Okay, actually, what you do, then you W. So you take a nice extended trade. So that's pretty good for you. And you use your potion, so this is fine. I think you are sometimes being a little bit like sometimes you're walking up when there isn't a CS and then you're walking back when there is a CS. So like here you're playing for this CS, right? But you like go towards it before you actually need to, and then you move away from it when it's actually gonna die. So I think that's super weird. Mainly like I think you can get this CS, and basically you're just not. I think maybe, I'm not even sure what the problem is there. Maybe you just like feel like you need to be safer than you are. But I think this is probably the situation where Viktor freezes it. You definitely need to place a ward. This ward doesn't help you at all. I would probably, okay, I guess you were scared of walking through here, which I can understand. So walking around makes sense, but I think you have to ward here, even though it takes you a little bit more time. The problem is that like this doesn't actually defend you against Yi. Like I don't think he's ever just going to walk through here and gank you. He's probably going to walk around. Yeah, this is a pretty tough spot to be in, honestly, in this sort of situation. It's like, I feel like it's sort of a product of not having TP and just taking too much damage, but if you do end up in this situation, you probably need to ping your jungler to come, and if he doesn't come, you just have to, like, accept it. Now here you were playing very aggressively on the wrong side of the lane, I would say. So, right now, like, I don't know, I feel like this doesn't protect you enough, but, like, you've placed your ward topside and your jungler is topside, so all your safety is currently topside. But the way you're playing, you're not playing, like, here. You're instead playing over here, and that is why you're super vulnerable. You're hugging to the wrong side. Yeah, so you kind of lose flash here for free, which isn't actually the end of the world, I feel like, against their champions. And also this wave's going to push back to you, so to be honest, it actually wasn't the worst, but it also didn't need to happen. They get ganked by Yi, that's why that, like, ward was sort of useless for you. So you... Okay, yeah, like, this is sort of... Well, I mean, you can get back to the wave in time. So yeah, actually, if you can get back to the wave in time, it's fine. If that's the time you meant about Viktor freezing, I think, yeah, it's just kind of a product of not having TP. Like, it should be. I think the way the matchup should play out is that in the early game, you kind of, like, trade a bit of HP to make sure that you stay, like, high CS, and then if the wave ends up fucked or if you end up too low to kind of do anything about it, then you can just look to TP back. But I think for having Ignite, this is kind of like, it's an acceptable deficit, honestly. Like, one thing people don't realize is that TP is actually the early game summoner, and Ignite is the late game summoner. It's actually the opposite way to what most people think. I think the only reason people think of that is because, like, Ignite is used for helping you snowball, but if the game is actually even, if it's a pure 1v1 and, like, no one's playing badly, I guess at a higher level maybe, TP is actually a much stronger early game summoner. Again, this is the same sort of thing. It's like, you're in a losing matchup and your opponent has TP advantage, which means you have a couple options here. Because he based and he has TP advantage, you need to match base here as well. So I would base right now. Oops, I did not mean to backspace, but yeah, I would base right now, and that would be way better. The problem is that because he TP's back, he gets to freeze this wave, and you're forced to base. I sort of feel like you have to give this up, almost. I think it's like, you need your jungler to unfreeze this if you're going to stay. Because you just don't have pressure with the amount of HP you have right now. Yeah, like, you can't really do anything, and you're losing more and more CS. Okay, and then you die. So, there's, like, a couple options there. You can accept that you've gone for, like, a scaling rune page, or a scaling summoner, I guess. And so you're willing to give up a little bit more, which in this case, you just, like, base. And then a little on, if you had still made the mistake, then you base and give up a wave. But the reality is you've taken Ignite and it hasn't converted to anything. I think the easiest thing to do would just be, if you verse a difficult ranged matchup, so I think like Orianna, Syndra, Viktor, these sort of like lane dominant mages, I would just take TP. I pretty much always take TP on Yone versus range champs, but I also pretty much only use Yone as a counter, and that's not because Yone can't be used as a blind pick, but it's more because, like, I have better blind picks in my pool, right? So I don't normally blind pick him, so it's not something I run into super often. But yeah, if you're like playing Yone all the time, then I think you just kind of have to run TP versus range matchup, because it's like, you've taken Ignite to try get some like kills and snowballs, but just look at how far behind you are, basically. This was good though. That was a really smart R, and also you played this pretty well mechanically up until the end. So let's see. I think you actually could have E-ulted this rather than just ulting it, but I guess you wanted less time for him to react. But it would have been a lot more damage. See, the problem is here that you've used your R, Q, and W before using your E, so you have a lot less damage. Although using E to dodge the field thingy here is pretty nice. I think you can just auto this guy to death and don't even have to risk queuing, but the thing is, you actually move away, and your E does no damage because you just like applied no damage with it. So this Viktor's dead. Echo, he ults out. That's still a kill, but I think you played it not that optimally. I mean, you played it well at the start, but then you kind of entered it after. I think also, not buying, well, you couldn't have bought it on the first base because you had no gold, but not having any form of sustain, like you don't have a Vamp Scepter, you don't have a refillable, you don't have any way to sustain any of this poke back, it's going to make playing the lane pretty difficult. It was sort of hard because I feel like you've based on really awkward amounts of gold, and if you just like had more CS from, well, from TP for a start, but also from, what's it called, just from like avoiding a bit more of the damage, I think the lane would be a lot more playable. This was good. Nice little trade, you punish this cooldown. Echo is dead, I guess? Yeah, that sucks. I think this is more just a product of how weak you are, like you can't fight the 2v2. So yeah, I think you do the best you can here, pretty much. Clear out that wave. This guy's really, really strong. He doesn't have ult though, so you might have a window when you have Ignite and he doesn't have ult, so let's see if you can punish that. Oh, so you're going pretty early. Can you kill this guy without Ignite? I don't feel like you can. Yeah, I think you actually kind of missed your window. I think... Okay, let's click on this guy right now. Like, this guy, if you've been keeping track, this guy has no flash. And I'm pretty sure when you have R and Ignite... Yeah, so you're going to have ult and Ignite before he has his ult. And he's not going to have flash. I'm pretty sure you can ult him and then flash out of the gravity thing. And you can probably score a kill. But the problem is you use your cooldowns, like, too early. Like, you use your R without having your Ignite. And you didn't commit flash. Like, I think if you commit flash here, maybe you kill him. But probably not. So instead, like, you missed the window. All you needed to do was stay healthy here and wait. But instead, like, you give up your pressure, and then there's nothing you can do here, basically. You're just... The thing is, all these, like, range matchups, right? If you don't have the cooldowns necessary to threaten them or punish them, they will just poke you on cooldown, basically, right? So your threat comes from having these cooldowns and using them at optimal times, I guess. And here, you didn't really. So you lose another, like, ton of CS. You buy the Vamp Scepter, which is smart, but honestly, I feel like the lane is so fucked at this point that it's just going to be super hard to win. Like, you're down level. This guy's gotten so many plays. He has a kill. Yeah, he's up, like, almost 2,000 gold on you. So there's basically, like, if you guys are even skill, there's no chance for you to come back from this game, I would say. But your team is winning, and he hasn't pressured you as hard as he could have. So I think you still have a chance to do stuff. Now... this, I have mixed feelings about this. I think, on face value, this is... Well, let's see. Okay, it's like not as... It's not that bad a roam, honestly, because... Okay, so the enemy top is really pushed up, but he has a lot of resources still, so I'm not sure you can actually score this kill. I think what you did here was sort of smart, where you, like... You should half commit to this roam, so I think, like, here... You reevaluate, like, if you can still get a kill or if you can go back bot. And so, I mean, sorry, go back mid and just farm the next wave. So here, you realize Cho'Gath's taking a ton of damage, and you manage to come up and get the kill. And that's good because I think someone else can cover mid while you push out this top wave, which would be perfect. Because this allows you to actually get quite a bit of gold without having to interact with Viktor. I think if you were ahead, or, like, even, this wouldn't be the best roam because, like, they still got mid tower off it, right? Like, it wasn't the best roam. But I feel like you sort of had to go for it, given how behind you were. And you couldn't lane versus Viktor anyway. So you managed to get yourself quite a bit of gold off this, so this is good. It definitely feels... You shouldn't be in the position where you have to do this, but I think it was probably the best decision you could have made, given the kind of, like, fucked position you found yourself in. Ooh. Oh wow, you managed to get out of there. No. Oh, that was so lucky. You got so lucky like twice. Okay, let's look at why this happened. So, first, I think, in general, it's pretty greedy to contest this wave. The reason is that you have no vision here. You also have, like, your support and mid aren't even on the map. They're in base at the moment. And then your jungler is on bot side. So you're, like, ultra weak-sided at the moment. And I don't think you know where their jungler is. So you should be pretty scared to contest this wave in the first place. I think here, you're, like, looking for a fight when it's, like, it's a bad kind of time to fight. If you win this 1v1 super quickly, then it's different. But you're not strong enough to do that. Instead, you've lost all your HP and all your cooldowns. Like, you've used Flash Ignite on weak side, so now there's, like, no chance you live, right? Like, I think if Master Yi had dived you where you had all your cooldowns, you actually might have been able to outplay it. But because you, like, use everything there and just, like, waste it at a bad time, you just get kind of rolled, to be honest. And yeah, it's pretty bad. So you know Yi's bot, you managed to push in this wave. I think here you should go for the Krugs. So, okay, we have options here. Like, either you base instantly, give up the tower, and go buy shield bow. But I think it is... Actually, no, you can't afford shield bow, right? Actually, I can't remember how much it costs. But I think you don't have enough. Yeah, you don't have enough. So, here, you should have just run to the Krugs instead. Your Echo was dead, so he's not going to farm them. And I think you would have been able to get yourself just a little bit more CS. So these Krugs have been up a while and you haven't CS them at all. You're just catching waves. Okay, now you go to the Krugs, but you could have got this like 3 waves ago, so would have been a lot closer to respawning. Now, if this happens, okay, there's like a couple things here. I think what you're doing here is correct. I think that you could base like right now and come to this fight, but I think you're really, really weak, and you don't really offer much to a fight at the moment. So I think here you need to commit to not fighting this, and if you notice that your team's doing drag, the worst thing you can do is base, because you can't get here in time to make a difference. And to be honest, your team will probably lose this fight without you anyway. So right now you should hard shove this, take the enemy tower, take the enemy Grump, and take the enemy Wolf. So there's like a lot of gold you can get if you're willing to trade this. Instead you base, so you have 0 pressure on the map, and your team, they're forced to give up this drag anyway because you're not here, which I think is correct. So your team actually played it pretty well. But instead of getting a ton of stuff, but Cho'Gath TPing away from the wave, you actually just come down and share golden XP with your team. So this is really, it's really, really bad. I think you could have gotten like, this is what, like 600 gold, 2 waves is like another 300 gold, another camp 100, another camp 100. You probably missed like close to 1,000 gold by basing here. So that's like 3 kills worth of gold, you know, that's the kind of play that gets you back in this game. And you didn't, it's not even like, you don't have to execute it idly, you know? Like, this is just something that, if you see the decision, you can just do it. It's not like you have to play it well. It's literally, that was free for the taking. And yeah, you didn't even need to execute, like, the side lane well there. That was a good team fight, I guess, but, like, I think, again, it's, like, way less gold than you would have gotten otherwise, and you shared all that golden XP with other players in your team, so it's much less valuable. I think here, the base, again, is not good. You have 1k gold, so I can understand wanting to base, but I think right now, you're much stronger than this Tristana, or at least I think you should be able to win the 1v1, or maybe you can't. Does have... No, I think you should be able to win the 1v1, so I'm pretty sure you can push this wave in, and if you can get the wave to crash onto their tower, it'll mean it'll bounce back to you, and you'll deny them CS and get yourself more CS. Instead, because this wave remains dead, like you can see, right, a whole wave just died for free for like both teams, where it could have just been dying for free into their tower just for their team. So again, like side lane mismanagement causes you to lose more CS. Coming top out of base I think was good. Playing safe here was smart, like that. Yep, taking the opportunity to push this wave is good, I think. Could be a kill. He flashes. You are probably dead. How can you know this? I think... To be honest, I think this is actually good by you, and I think you got a little bit unlucky here. So the reason is, like, you have mid prior, which means your AD mid and or AD support and jungle should be able to walk up here uncontested. But so for some reason, they're just, like, being a bit safe. Ashe doesn't ult either. But yeah, Ashe took too long to rotate. So you end up dying, but I feel like they should die for that. Are they going to die for that? Maybe they just do. Okay, well, Viktor dies. But he's going to get an Ashe missed ult. He's going to get a lot of kills. Okay, I mean, it doesn't turn out too badly. I think also, like, it's sort of a product of just how weak you are. Wow, that was nice. I don't think you want to be in the situation where you can't look for stuff like that. I guess maybe the way you can know that this is bad is like... I think it's actually that you kind of overcommitted, right? Like, let's see. So EQ, R... actually, no, I don't think there's... it would be hard to recognize this. I think it's just a bit unlucky, maybe. I mean, I guess, like, on a really high level, maybe you should see that your jungler is playing, like, sort of passively here. Like, he's re-entering their jungle and they have river control. So, yeah, actually, I guess that's the main thing. It's like, you haven't quite re-established river control. Actually, yeah, okay, that's definitely it. It's so your bot lane's entering here. They will regain control for you in the next 10 seconds. So all you need to do is play safe for that 10 seconds. But instead you look for the all-in a bit too early and get punished for it. I do think if he was stronger, this wouldn't have gone like bad at all. So it's like sort of just a product of where kind of like how you are in the game. But I think yeah, it was kind of a bad time to look for the all-in. You come to the side lane. This looks pretty good. You get that. I think you can kill this guy. Let's see. Oh, so he has all, so he's pretty strong. I guess you need to... I think this might be a case of going in too early again. Yeah, I think it is. So here, like, you have shield bow soon. Like, your shield bow shield. And you also have ult soon. I think you literally just wait for a little bit. But the problem is here, like, you really hard commit to this. And now you don't have E and you've lost half your HP. I guess maybe you can still look for it. I mean, you get the ult. Okay, I mean, you still get the kill. I think you could have waited a little bit. Just like 5 seconds longer and it would have been a bit more guaranteed. But to be honest, you destroyed him, so no complaints from me, I guess. Now this is good. You push the wave all the way in. You should take these Krugs. Yep, so this was really good. Like, this was really good side wave management compared to before. When you come mid, I think this is all good as well. You get some farm. So yeah, this is all really nice. Come at bot. Collect the wave. We're all good here. And then this should be another kill. Yep, so you're playing the sideline pretty damn well at the moment. You're getting yourself really back into the game. Push another wave. I actually don't mind this that much either. So I think the only thing is here, you shouldn't be too... Okay, actually no, I do kind of mind it. So first, like, your team is doing Baron, so it is good to generate some pressure here. Actually, I guess by seeing them here, you should know that they can't get to Baron at all. But I think, like, if it were closer, you could, like, try and stop bases and be willing to die to get Baron. But I think here, you should know that you can actually get Baron because they can't get there in time. Also, you know Seraphine's still here because she has the shield. And again, you just don't really have the cooldowns for this. No Ignite, no R. So you're going a bit too early. But again, it's actually not too bad. He does get a shutdown, but like you get Baron and he used Flash for it. So as far as deaths go, it's not that bad, but I think it was still kind of unnecessary. So you come top out of base, and I actually think this is a mistake. So yeah, I think this is a mistake. When you get Baron, normally you want to play 2 lanes, because playing 3 lanes, like, it's the enemy's chance to engage, and also you really want to be grouped so you can, like, pressure. So here, it's like your Wukong is already playing bot, and your bot lane's playing mid, so I think you actually leave this wave here. And just group with your team mid, probably. Because, like, you go to this, but your team wants to pressure bot, and it's a bit difficult to pressure. If you had Baron, maybe this is a bit different, because, like, you could just say, okay, I'm ignoring your team, and I'm going to just push this all the way in. But I think it could be a bit scary for your team without you here. You do get a kill though. Yeah, if you had Baron, this would look a lot... Oh, okay. So yeah, this is super weird. Like, if you are committing to this side lane play and getting a kill, you're doing it so you can take these towers where your team pressures bot. But instead, after getting the kill, like after making sure that Viktor can't do anything here anymore because you killed him, now you come in group. Like, this makes no sense. Like, right here, you did manage to kill the Viktor. Whether that should be possible or not, I'm not sure. I think if Viktor had played a bit safer, he shouldn't have been able to die. But that should have been top tower dead there. Instead, again, you, like, grouped and shared XP and gold with the Ashe. That's very weird. Yeah, really, really not good, in my opinion. Probably... Okay, you get a sick ult. Yeah, I mean, you're playing it pretty well mechanically. Just the macro is really weird. So, keep playing. I mean, you're so strong now. You're so strong. So drag like that. I'm gonna do the Krogus like that as well. Yeah, I don't think you base here. I'm glad you cancelled that. I think this was a little bit ambitious because if you get this kill, yeah, if you get this kill, it doesn't actually convert into anything, so it's not like a super insane kill. I actually think you should... I don't mind the ult so much, but I actually think using Ignite was pretty troll. I think you really should value your Ignite at this stage of the game. Like 400 true damage means like with your combo and Ignite, you're basically going to kill anyone. And so really saving that for a team fight would be good. I think using it here, even if you got the kill, ult is fine because the cooldown is really short. But I think the Ignite is actually a bit too much. I think you should really value it at this point in the game. That guy dies anyway. I mean, it's not quite over, but it's functionally over. Just watch it on 8 times. I don't think we're gonna see anything too crazy. Nice flash. Looks good. See, like, if you ignite Tristana here... Actually, I guess... No, it actually wouldn't have been that good there. I guess you should save her ignite still. But I guess, well, I don't know. It makes it harder for her to defend this tower. So maybe it would have been a good ignite, actually. This is, guys, just like free damage for you, so you get this kill. Okay, well, the game is pretty much over. Yep. Actually gonna go back. Okay, so let's start out with these notes. So first thing, I would say that the early game was massive for you. You lost out on so much CS, I think. The biggest thing is just like TP versus like hard range matchups. I think the Ignite was just too greedy. You don't really have a jungler that can help you that much. You know, like when those lanes are frozen, if you have something like Lee Sin, or what's an AP ganking jungler? Maybe like Zac or something. I guess maybe a Nidalee, but she wouldn't want to spend time. So anyway, like if you don't have a jungler that can really help you, I think it's very hard to run Ignite versus these matchups that are pokey super low. You could have played it a little bit better. I think you took a lot of free damage. Whether or not you can avoid losing CS, I don't think you can. It would just more be that you were like higher on HP than you should have been. I think also your ward was pretty risky. So risky ward. Yeah, it would have only taken you a little bit to kind of push that out there, I think. Let's just 8 times this and kind of... Oh yeah, the sound noise gets fucked up after the game ends. I forgot about that. Oh yeah, this was pretty big. So despite that, you kind of hug. This is not a top lane thing, so I understand why this is happening. Is you need to hug to your vision slash safety, and this this situation where you get ganked by Seraphine, your safety is the top side. In theory, because you placed a ward and you have your jungler top side. Whether or not you actually are safe top side because of your ward placement is arguable, but it's certainly safer than bot side, right? Like you had no vision bot side whatsoever. So that was pretty bad. Let's see, what else was there? Let me just skim through this. Oh yeah, there was some times where you didn't really like sync your cooldowns that well, so you would like, you had like windows where you could kind of get kills and you didn't quite get them because you used them not really together, you know, like you know, you would like use your ignite or you'd use your R like not with the other things rather than waiting for them all. Also another thing is if you do take ignite, you need to, okay, so normally like if the enemy bases, you push and then base, right? But if you're down TP, you need to base at the same time as them. So if you take ignite versus TP, you need to match base timing rather than trying to get an extra wave because they will TP back and freeze it. So is that I can't remember where it was somewhere in here where the wave got frozen for a really long time. Now that's why that happened. So you could have picked up a lot more CS near the game, and I definitely don't think you... I think if you take TP, like you can be in touching distance to Viktor the whole time, and you kind of shit on him throughout the rest of the game, so like if you can do that while being this far behind, then if you're even, it's going to be no problem at all, basically. Or even ahead, you know. This was all good. Don't think there's anything you could have done to stop that. Yeah, I mean, this is all fine. Oh yeah, that was the cooldown thing, I remember that. They lose tower. Oh no, it wasn't here. Just going back through and kind of trying to remember what happened. Yep, I like this room, I remember that. Oh yeah, okay, I actually remember the next big thing. So the next big thing was around the dragon. This second dragon here, this was super bad. So you need to... I guess the mid-game thing, your side laning was better this game, but you really need to, like, I guess, like, recognize trade opportunities, not in, like, trade opportunities, not in terms of, like, laning, But just like in the mid game, so like right here, you are in no position to contest this dragon. You need to actively be looking to trade, and basing right now is the worst possible thing you can do. Like, this is so much gold here. Or if you were coming to this dragon, you needed to be here ages ago. Instead, you just did the worst thing possible. You come down here and you end up sharing gold and XP with your team. You don't even get any kills out of this, or I think you get one maybe. But it's like way worse than if you had just pushed top. That was like, I would say this was the biggest problem of the whole game, or maybe the TP thing. Those two were like actually just game losing. I think if you're playing in a higher elo, you will get punished so hard off this. This was a little niche. I will cover it. So I think I guess like paying attention to your teammates' positions when playing aggro on side. I feel like that's kind of long, but I think here, yeah, it is hard to recognize this, I think. And I definitely didn't see it straight away at first, but I think here, just because your team is almost able to help you here and you just played like a little too aggressive. But again, it's like if you're much stronger, this would be a skill check that you wouldn't even have to pass. And I think you can like reliably hit that point. It's not often that Yone is actually worried about like jungle ganks and stuff, because a lot of the time he can just 1v2. This was again cooldown thing. I think you should be, oh yeah, okay, this part was really good. I remember you were like hitting the tower, you hit the Krugs, then you came mid, found another wave. All that was really efficient, so I like that. I think there is sometimes, I think it was here, where you're a little bit too passive on the side lane. So yeah, it was here. So I'm gonna put ideally push the wave all the way in, more aggressive on side lane. So here you're like giving waves up for free, and I think maybe you don't realize like how much gold is. Oh wait, was it even here? Maybe I'm thinking of a different time. I think I'm thinking of a different time. But do you remember that time where like Tristana was here and you didn't push the extra wave? Or maybe it was here. Oh yeah, I think it was here. It was because you died? Oh no, actually I don't remember. Anyway, it was somewhere down here. It was later in the game where the wave ends up really cooked and it denies you a lot of CS just because you didn't push it all the way in. So yeah, and then, okay, here was the exact same thing. I think maybe it is better to play 2 lanes. So I'm gonna say like, generally play 2 lanes with Baron. So this means like if it's probably better that you're in the side lane rather than Wukong, but if Wukong's already in a side lane, then you should probably group with your team. But if you commit to playing 3 lanes, you need to like hard commit and actually get something off it rather than just like coming down. Like this should be a tower. So I'll say if you do play 3 lanes, like hard commit to split push. So yeah, you could have done that. Yeah, to be honest, I think most of your side laning was good though. That was a nice ult. Get a tower. Put the in here. I think, yeah, at this point the game is basically over. I don't really remember. Was there anything else? I'll just 8 times through the rest of it, but I think that was it. So like, this is fine. Getting Krugs is good. Oh yeah. I guess maybe like, so if you are running Ignite, why can't I spell Ignite, you need to be like, you need to really value its cooldown, to be honest. Like, this late game Ignite is super valuable because it basically guarantees a kill because it cuts their healing and does a huge chunk of unavoidable damage. And here you kind of waste it. Again, doesn't make a difference this game, but one thing to keep in mind is that as you get later in the game and the team fights become like, if you kill the enemy AD carry, for example, in a late game team fight, the game is probably over. It's not like in the early game where if you kill the enemy AD carry in say a 10-minute team fight, maybe you get a dragon off it, but it's not game ending, right? But in the late game, having like as many cooldowns as you can up for key team fights is super important, because the later the game goes, it suddenly becomes more and more like team fights are the only thing that matters pretty much, especially in solo queue. Like there's no like advanced rotations, or I don't really see people doing stuff with like vision and that. So it always just comes down to like another 5v5 brawl. So being as strong as you can for that makes a big difference. Don't think there's anything else here. So I think, yeah, the biggest things for you to work on, I'd say like the TP stuff is really easy. So I'm just going to TP versus ranged. Like work on taking less damage. I think there were specific examples in the lane. But But yeah, the biggest thing will be taking TP. Also, if you play mid more, your warding needs to be much better. So you need to like you probably need to focus on warding a bit further out / hugging aside. So if you do play a lot of mid lane Yone as opposed to top lane, this will be way bigger. Syncing the cooldowns, I feel like that's kind of easy for you to fix. I think okay, mid game like okay, recognizing trade opportunities / pushing more waves, or I guess like being more aggro in mid game. So there's like a lot of time in the mid game where you're not getting as much gold as you should, and actually I would say this is the biggest thing for you. And the way to do this is simply like test your limits. Like try pushing the extra wave and just like rage splitting almost, and seeing what happens. Like you are going to get punished sometimes, you're going to push too far, you're going to die to ganks and stuff like that. But it's better than not even going for it and then just like not learning and not even realizing it's a thing. So yeah, I'd say that's actually the biggest thing. I think also to go with that, once you do kind of start testing your limits, you'll probably need to start paying attention or like considering. Oh yeah, there was that like weak side thing. I remember, I actually forgot to cover this. There was like earlier in the game, there was that time where you're sitting under your tower and you traded really heavily on the weak side with nowhere near, and then you got dived by Yi. So considering your teammates' positions when you are side laning, and also we'll put teammates / enemy teams positions when you're side laning. So yeah, like when you start testing your limits on the side lane more, you're going to run into the problem of if you don't think about like where your teammates are and where the enemy is, that sometimes you are just going to like over push and die. So I'd say first, just see if you can like find opportunities to get more gold in the side lane, but when you start getting better at it, when you start actively testing your limits more, you're going to have to really start thinking about this. But for the most part, I think it was a good game. I think the early game is easily fixable with TP. Again, your Yone mechanics are pretty clean. I think your team fighting was good. You have valuable targets and stuff like that. So for the most part, I'm pretty happy with the game. But yeah, I think if you fix these things from this game, it'll be a lot easier. So yeah, basically again, if you have any questions, let me know, and I will copy paste this to you now and upload this session, of course. So yeah, good luck, man.